Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Brandon, back again with Critical Failure, and it's been a while since I made a video, like the past couple days. So I have kind of don't have my actual stuff on me at the current moment. So I thought it'd be really cool to actually kind of do like a like kind of what I wanted to do. Sadly, since I cannot actually uh, record my campaigns at the current moment, I do some sort of like talk through of what happened, of what I've done in Curse of Strahd, and the highlighted points of what has happened so far in it. So we're going to get into the characters probably, and that's what I'm going to basically leave it off as. Originally, there was a lot of players actually. Uh, there was a couple joke name characters. There was a couple people who weren't necessarily going to be there all the time, and I knew that. So one of them, which is my good friend Wesley, was named Sticky Greg. He was a cleric. Forgot the he's a Tempest cleric, and he was actually one of the more funny characters. Like he usually plays like a serious character, but he actually played a good like funny character this time. Uh, there was my brother who was a rogue. His name is King. I forgot. No, I did remember that character's name. Uh, so sorry, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this, but my game's not working on my phone. I'm trying to play COD Mobile on it, and it's not working. And I figured while it's doing its thing, I'll just fucking do a video. So I apologize for the noise in the background. I'm turning it down. But he's a rogue. There was another rogue named Nomio that was not very fucking. It was obviously the person was trying to play a joke in the thing. Uh, that person is no longer playing with us. She was with us 4 games, and then she stopped coming. And we've adopted a couple more players. Uh, there was another girl named Schwester, which is German for, or whatever the fuck it is for sister. I forgot who the fuck said it. I think it was German. That's what they said. Not sure. Didn't look it up, but that's what their premise was. She was a barbarian. There was another barbarian named Woody. He was definitely the idiot of the group. He doesn't know how to play D&D as well. There's a lot of new players in it. There's a character named Big Cush Billy who was a blood hunter, by far the best name of the group. He was the newest player to the group in terms of he wanted to play, but because of basically what happened with the group, with how hard I was trying to struggle to get the DM or to get DMing better because everyone was off doing their own side conversations and I'm trying to progress a story, that he sadly didn't want to play after game one. If he's still interested, he might want to join shortly because there's far less players now. Uh, there was Edward's character, which is Thalarin. He was a wizard, a blade singer wizard, and boy, does that boy have like massive amounts of AC. It's actually really annoying because of Nomia, there was a TPK, and I'll explain why they survived afterwards. And it was actually very terrifying on how the idiocy of one character can kill such a low level party. Like they were level 2 when this happened, so it was very funny. Some new characters that just popped in like 2 games ago is Bob Moss, which I fucking love that name, Bob Moss. He's a fucking paladin. I forgot his oath, but he was a paladin, and he's like a lawful good character. And then there is a character basically who's his like bodyguard of sorts, that I'm running at the current moment because DPS is like becoming an issue. Uh, I forgot the fucker's name, but oh, Nalen something. His name was Nalen, very similar to Kylan, but I didn't make the connection until afterwards. So I'm thinking Nalen would be better because Kylan rhymes with Nalen a little bit. But everyone's just been calling him Len. So he's a dragonborn monk with under the bronze dragon. So he's been basically walking around just doing monk shit, trying to get DPS. Some notable stuff in the campaign so far. That's funny, anyways. Very first encounter they ever did in the Durst Manor, or the Death House. If any of you know anything about it, there's a plate, or not a plate mail, a animated armor segment where it's animated and you have to fight it. Well, before anyone passed a like perception check, because I wanted to see if they could have a feeling they were being watched, Woody walked straight up to it and immediately got RKO'd by the animated armor. Like he basically went to go touch it, and as soon as that happened, it just went up and just straight RKO'd his ass. And by far one of the funniest moments. A couple people laughed during that. Second best thing that happened during then was when they were doing when they were escaping. They had brought baby Walter, which is like some homebrew stuff, I believe, with them to Barry. Well, considering that for some reason that Edward's character has been heavily into necromancy, they decided to keep the baby, which has started degrading a lot because everyone in that house is dead. So it started degrading a lot. The degradation was so immense that the skin started like kind of becoming soup by the time a couple hours had passed. So they're literally at this point carrying around a skeleton with some soup at the bottom of the like this handbasket, because there's a lot of homebrew stuff. So I changed a lot of Durst Manor into just trying to be as creepy as I can. Durst Manor somehow, like how I ran it was more of like a thematic thing, or cinematic theme, rather than a like a straight murder house. Because if I ran it like how Durst Manor or the Death House was supposed to be, it would not have worked. They would have either blown through it because of how many people were in it, or they would have died. And I wasn't trying to have that. Besides the TPK. Now, onto the TPK, basically how I had it was right before the main room where you battle the big boss, which I had put in, which was basically a flesh mound. Would like to thank, I think it was Lunchbox Heroes for that. Like, I had so many neat ideas because of him. But I basically put in this little flesh mound, which is basically like a shambling mound but made of flesh and bone and sinew and shit, and that was the boss that they had to fight. It had like 130 something HP. At this point, Schwester, Woody, and Nomia were no longer there. They stopped playing at that point because of their own personal reasons, and so it was also Big Kush Billy. So the only players left were King, Thalrin, and I'm trying to remember Wesley's character's name, fucking the cleric. So at this point, they have experienced death. The DPK was kind of bullshit. It was unplanned. So they had went to go face a boss. They ended up losing. Brian's character, King, ended up dying because he was basically consumed by the flesh mound, which was absolutely funny because they kept bashing the hell out of the fucking shambling mound, which half of the damage went to him and half went to the mound. So they purposely were just beating the fuck out of it. And so eventually it started happening to the cleric. The cleric got somehow, like, I did a really cool homebrew thing. He wanted to thunderwave. So he thunderwaved himself basically out. And so he launched himself out, and I thought that was a really neat idea. Like, not only would it hurt it, but he got basically forcibly evicted from his house, which I found really fucking cool. Sorry, I am trying to... I don't know how my game went to store. I don't know what happened. Why are you on this? I don't want this. Okay, my game's just being stupid. hold on a second. I might have accidentally touched it, and that was a problem. Okay, that's better. So basically, he launched himself out, which is a really neat homebrew thing that I saw, because he basically it passed its DC, and I was like, you know what, it did it pass its DC? Yeah, it passed its DC, but I still thought he should rock it out, so I thought that'd be really cool. So that's what happened with him, and he ended up getting attacked by it, like by a slam attack, and he went unconscious, and he was fighting his death saves. I think he lost them because my brother ended up kept getting hit while he was inside of it. Ooh, my neck has a couple fucking bites on it, fucking bugs. But so he ended up going down. King is down, and so there's Thalrin. Thalrin is fighting, and he's running around the entire situation. Basically, it's like the room's like about 300 feet wide, and this dude's like fucking able to outpace the shambling mound. The shambling mound has like 20 feet of movement, 10 feet of movement, something like that. So he's able to walk faster than it. And before that, he ended up getting downed, and the shambling mound left him alone. Basically, what happened was no, I don't think the cleric died, actually. I think he was on his last death save, and then yeah, he was on his last death save. The cleric was very close to dying. I said if Ed made a natural 20 on his last death save, he would be put up to 1 and he could heal the cleric. So he does. He heals the cleric. King's already fucking dead. He hasn't survived. And so we end up basically sitting there not able to really do much because it's now 2 people, and I think there was like 40 HP left on it. The cleric has little health, and they end up refighting it, but staying at a distance. And they end up killing it, which is pretty cool. And they eventually decided to keep the fucking baby inside for some fucking reason, which is very weird. And one really neat thing that I included was they, when they get into Barovia, because most people start the campaign in Barovia for some reason, from the listed reasonings from the actual guidebook for Curse of Strahd. I didn't start that. I put Death House as a traveling dimensional door base-esque trap, basically, where it starts off with Thorn and Rose, I think that's her names, basically luring in people to Barovia. And once you enter the house, you're in Barovia. Like, you're transported. The house stays where it's at in Eberron, but the real house is in Barovia at a different location. It's not in the village of Barovia anyways. From my game, I changed a lot for homebrew on that aspect. So basically, they're like 8 hours from the village of Barovia, and they start walking, and they have noticed a like little handbasket, like woven handbasket, and it says "Welcome to Barovia," and it's written Count von Sarovich. I don't know why I fucked that up. I say it so many times during the actual fucking campaign. And so, while basically walking, they see him, but don't know it's him, and they see him with 2 consorts, which are also vampires, and they try to talk to him, and all he says is "Welcome to Barovia." They should have made that connection then, that that's him, but they didn't. And basically, they walked 8 hours to get to the village of Barovia, and the first thing that they do is insult the guard at the gate, because I made it where it's a gated community, basically. They insulted him, and I was like trying to say that this character has been working like 14-hour days for some reason, and they asked him if his kids were his. And what basically happened was a 5-minute entire debate of whether this man has a cheating wife or not, which in a bout of actual like complete wordlessness, my only thoughts at the time to say as a character were, that can explain why some of my kids are darker than they should be. So I was thinking that would be funny. And later on, they see another guard who's working a 14-hour shift, who is a black character, and they made the deduction that this guard has been sleeping with the first guard's wife, which I found really funny. And sadly, it's not true. It's actually not, but I'm gonna let them believe that. It's actually really funny because the person who has is like Mexican looking, so that's the best way that I could put it because I didn't imagine it being like a dark skinned character sleeping with the wife. So that's their own little free quest or that they have to figure out on their own. But basically, right after that, they want to pacify for the dead baby, what is now soup. So I don't know why they have covered it, and I would imagine that the smell of death is emanating from it, but I have forgotten about that until now. And so they're basically sitting there just trying to figure shit out, and they natural 20 on a stealth check, cast Mage Hand from this like stall, basically like like a merchant stall, and successfully steal a pacifier out of this thing and pocket it. So that was actually really funny. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there because that's where the not the cleric, the paladin and the monk come in. So I'm gonna do that for another video. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you like these types of videos where I'm basically just talking about the Curse of Strahd campaign. Trust me, the next section will actually catch up what's going on. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.